Welcome back to Book to Read. We're diving deep into episode number 26. And today we're taking on, well, you know it, The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Even if you haven't read all 3 volumes yet, don't worry, because we're going to, I think, help you grasp some of the really epic themes and maybe even find some hidden gems in the excerpts that you shared.
Yeah, Tolkien's work, I mean, it's so layered. It's almost like Middle-earth itself, you know?
Yeah.
Just full of hidden depths that are just waiting to be explored.
Oh, that's such a good point. Speaking of layers, can we talk about the different editions and all the revisions? Because they can get really overwhelming for a first-time reader.
Yeah, it can be a lot.
Luckily, we have Christopher Tolkien, his dedication to guiding us through all those textual complexities.
Yeah, he's been so instrumental in just preserving his father's legacy. And, you know, for those who really want to geek out on how the book evolved over time, there's Wayne G. Hammond's J.R.R. Tolkien, a descriptive bibliography. It's like the ultimate guide.
Wow. It's really amazing to think about the book itself having a history, almost like it's grown alongside its readership.
Right.
Let's jump into the story itself, though. The prologue gives us these really tantalizing glimpses into Hobbit history, like their migration west and the darkening of Mirkwood. It really sets the stage for the Shire as we know it.
And what's interesting is that hobbits seem obsessed with genealogy, but they only document their history after they settled in the Shire. What do you think that says about them?
It's almost like they're choosing to focus on their peaceful present and kind of consciously leaving the past behind.
That's a really great point. And that peaceful existence is contrasted so sharply with the darker elements that Tolkien brings in, like the One Ring and its corrupting power. I mean, we see this so clearly with Bilbo's encounter with Gollum.
Right. Gollum's attachment to his precious it's more than just wanting a shiny trinket. It speaks to the ring's ability to just twist desires into obsession. Even Bilbo's story about how he found the ring changes subtly over time, which makes you wonder about the ring's influence right from the start.
It's like the ring is already weaving its own narrative, even before the main story kicks in. And Gandalf, wise as he is, picks up on this. His warnings to Bilbo are less about a specific object and more about the inherent danger of unknown power.
Yeah, it's that classic magic comes with a price trope,
Right.
but Tolkien gives it so much depth. Speaking of depth, you know what else adds richness to life? A good book, a cozy spot, and a community of fellow bookworms to share it all with. And that's where Bookspace comes in.
Absolutely. Bookspace is the perfect app for connecting with other Tolkien fans, sharing your favorite quotes like, "Not all those who wander are lost," and even keeping track of all your Lord of the Rings editions, you know, for those of us who collect those beautifully illustrated versions.
Oh yeah, it's like having a virtual Shire for book lovers right in your pocket. Okay, back to Middle-earth. The story unfolds, stakes get higher, the Fellowship forms with that monumental task of destroying the One Ring. What strikes you most about this group?
I mean, the sheer diversity of the Fellowship. You have hobbits, a wizard, an elf, a dwarf, men each bringing their own unique skills and perspectives. It really speaks to the idea that even the most different individuals can unite for a common cause.
It's such a powerful message, especially given the conflicts we see brewing even within the Fellowship itself.
Yeah.
Destroying the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom, that's no easy feat. It almost makes you wonder if the real quest is the journey and how each member changes along the way.
That's a really fascinating thought, and Tolkien emphasizes this journey through the contrasting locations. You have the Shire, this idyllic haven that's immediately juxtaposed against all the dangers of the wider world. It's like innocence versus experience on an epic scale.
Right, and then you have Rivendell, the Elven Sanctuary, which feels like a place where knowledge and strategy are paramount. Almost like the Fellowship is arming themselves not just with weapons, but with wisdom.
And then you have Lothlorien, this enchanting forest realm ruled by Galadriel and Celeborn. It's almost a pause, like a breath of beauty and magic before the Fellowship dives into that ultimate darkness. Mordor.
Yeah, Mordor is described as this place where hope withers and despair reigns. What do you think Tolkien's trying to convey through this imagery? Is it just a physical location, or is it more an internal state of being?
It's definitely both. Tolkien was a master at weaving those layers of meaning into his world. But even as the Fellowship ventures into these increasingly difficult places, he never lets us forget the importance of of individual choices, like Frodo's struggle with the ring, for example, that constant temptation. That's something we can all relate to, right?
Hey, absolutely. We all have our own rings to bear, those internal struggles we face. But how do we, like Frodo, find the strength to resist? Aragorn's journey offers some insights there.
Yeah, Aragorn's journey of self-discovery and acceptance of his lineage as the heir of Isildur is all about choosing one's destiny. Are we bound by our past, or can we forge our own path?
That's a great question. And then there's Boromir, who initially gives in to the ring's temptation, but ultimately finds redemption through sacrifice. His story is a reminder that even the most well-intentioned can falter, but it's how we rise from those mistakes that truly defines us.
That's so true. And speaking of rising above challenges, Tolkien really beautifully illustrates the importance of friendship and loyalty throughout the story. The bond between Frodo and Sam, for example, is a testament to the power of unwavering support, even in the darkest of times.
That their relationship is more than just friendship. It's almost symbiotic, like they need each other to survive, not just physically, but emotionally too. What are your thoughts on that?
What's fascinating is how their differences actually strengthen their bond. Sam's grounded, practical nature really complements Frodo's more introspective, almost ethereal personality. It's like they each provide what the other lacks, making them a formidable duo.
I love that, yeah. And then you have this unlikely friendship between Legolas and Gimli, proving that even the most ingrained prejudices can be overcome. It speaks to the power of shared experiences to bridge divides and forge unexpected connections.
Absolutely. And the Fellowship as a whole, despite all their differences and internal tensions, they managed to work together for a common goal. Makes you wonder what we could achieve in our own world if we focus more on collaboration and less on division.
That's definitely something to ponder. We've barely scratched the surface of Middle-earth, but I already feel like we're uncovering some profound insights.
Yeah, for sure.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Lord of the Rings. Last time we were talking about the Fellowship's diversity and their mission to destroy the One Ring. As they go deeper into danger, how do their individual trials and their bonds of friendship, how do you think those evolve?
Well, the further they travel from the Shire, the more those bonds are tested, not only by external forces, but their own internal conflicts. Take Frodo and Sam, their relationship becomes almost like a lifeline for Frodo, especially as the ring's influence, weighs more heavily on him.
Yeah, it's more than friendship at that point. It's almost as if they become each other's anchor in a world that's getting more and more chaotic and dangerous.
Exactly. Sam's grounded nature and unwavering loyalty, that's what Frodo needs to keep going when his own resolve starts to waver.
There's a real tenderness in those moments, even in the bleakest settings. Remember when Sam makes Frodo a pillow out of his cloak? It's such a small gesture, but it says so much about their connection.
It's a reminder that even in the midst of huge battles and, world-altering events, it's the small acts of kindness that really sustain us.
Yeah, and it's not all doom and gloom on their journey, like their encounter with Gildor and the elves. It's this moment of respite and beauty amidst all that growing darkness.
That scene is so crucial, though, because it gives them vital information. Gildor confirms the danger that's lurking back in the Shire and stresses how urgent their mission really is.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder that the threat is real and time is running out.
Exactly.
And that forces them to make some really tough choices. Remember when they decided to leave the road and take that shortcut through the old forest? It feels like a turning point where they step off the familiar path and into the unknown.
Yeah, the Old Forest is where we start to see the magical and unpredictable elements of Middle-earth really come into play. Their encounter with Tom Bombadil, for instance. I mean, he's like a puzzle, right?
Oh, he's such a mystery.
Wrapped in an enigma. People still debate his origins and his powers and everything.
He's like a force of nature, almost detached from the main conflict, but still a protector of the forest in his own way. It's like Tolkien is saying that there are forces beyond even Sauron's grasp. These little pockets of magic and wonder that resist the darkness.
Definitely adds another layer to the world building, right? Hinting at all this history and complexity that we just get these glimpses of.
Oh yeah, for sure. But then they have that encounter with the Barrow Wight, and it brings them back to the reality of their quest. Ancient evils linger in Middle-earth, and the hobbits, they're not immune to danger.
Right, it's in those moments that we see their resilience and their resourcefulness. They face their fears head on. They use their wits and their courage to escape. And then comes another crucial decision. Do they trust Strider, this mysterious ranger with a shadowed past?
That is a huge leap of faith. It's like that classic trope, the unexpected guide who appears when you need them most.
Right.
But Strider, or Aragorn, as we learn later, is more than just a guide, right? He's a protector, he's a strategist, he's a leader.
His introduction really marks a shift in the story. The hobbits aren't just wandering anymore, they're being guided toward a greater purpose. And as they make their way to Rivendell, the Black Riders are closing in. Relentless. Terrifying. The stakes have definitely been raised.
Their escape from the Black Riders at Weathertop. I mean, it's one of the most gripping scenes. You really feel the danger closing in, and then Frodo's injury just adds this sense of urgency and desperation to their flight.
I think everyone breathed a sigh of relief when they finally reached Rivendell.
Oh, totally.
Both the characters and the reader. It's a place of healing, it's a sanctuary, but it's also where the fate of the ring is decided.
Yeah, the Council of Elrond, it's a pivotal moment. You have representatives from all over Middle-earth coming together to confront this shared threat. The weight of history and the gravity of their situation, it really sinks in for the Fellowship.
It's where we also see the different perspectives and motivations of everyone involved come into play. Boromir's temptation, for example, his desire to use the ring for Gondor's defense. You know, even good intentions can be twisted by power.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And then Aragorn accepting his lineage and his role in the conflict. It's almost a parallel to Frodo's journey in a way.
Oh, for sure.
They're both stepping into destinies they didn't choose, but they have to embrace them to save Middle-earth.
Such a great point. And the council, it also underscores just how important unity is. Despite their differences, everyone agrees that the ring has to be destroyed. That's why the Fellowship forms. A moment of hope, a moment of determination, but then it's quickly followed by that treacherous Redhorn Pass.
Talk about an uphill battle, literally and figuratively. The Redhorn Pass is where those internal conflicts really start to fracture the Fellowship.
Yeah.
Boromir's temptation by the ring, it just intensifies. And his attempt to take it from Frodo, that shatters their unity.
It's so heartbreaking because you can see how the ring, it preys on Boromir's insecurities and desires, even though he means well. It's a reminder that even the strongest can fall to temptation.
And it leads to the Fellowship breaking, which is a huge turning point in the story.
Right.
Frodo and Sam are forced to continue on alone, relying only on each other.
It's at this point that they meet another really crucial figure, Gollum,
Oh, Gollum.
that creature that was once enslaved by the ring. It's a risky move to trust him, but Frodo sees some good in him, maybe a chance for Gollum's redemption.
It's like they're walking a tightrope between trust and betrayal,
Right.
with Gollum as this unpredictable balancing act.
Gollum's introduction just adds another layer to the themes of choice and free will. You know, is he really capable of changing? Or is he driven only by his desire for the ring? That question haunts their entire journey through the Dead Marshes.
The Dead Marshes are so visually striking, but so emotionally draining. It's like this physical representation of the decay and despair that war and the ring have brought upon Middle-earth.
And it's here in this wasteland that we leave Frodo and Sam for now, facing unimaginable challenges. The constant threat of Gollum
Right.
will rejoin them and the rest of the Fellowship in Part 3.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Lord of the Rings. When we left off, Frodo and Sam were entering the Dead Marshes with Gollum, their guide. Kind of a chilling image, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like they're literally walking into this visual representation of death and despair. Yeah, the Dead Marshes are just this stark reminder of the consequences of conflict, this landscape that's just scarred by the echoes of past battles.
Hey.
Hope seems to literally drown beneath the water there.
Right.
But even there, Tolkien shows us the resilience of the hobbits.
Yeah, they push forward despite exhaustion, hunger, constant fear. Where do they find that inner strength? Especially with Gollum lurking around like a shadow.
Right.
You know, his desire for the ring is just so palpable, yet he's also their only guide through this treacherous terrain.
He embodies that constant tension between good and evil, a struggle that Tolkien really explores throughout the entire story. We get these glimpses of Smeagol, you know, his former self,
Right.
but then that desire for the precious takes over, and he becomes so unpredictable and dangerous.
It's like they're walking a tightrope between trust and betrayal with Gollum as this unpredictable balancing act. And then, just when you think things can't get any bleaker, they reach the Black Gate of Mordor.
Oh yeah, Talk about a symbol of absolute power.
Right, like an impenetrable wall of doom. Yeah, the Black Gate, I mean, it's the physical manifestation of Sauron's might, designed to crush the spirits of anyone who dares to challenge him. But, surprisingly, Gollum ends up being the key to bypassing this.
He leads them to a secret passage, right? That perilous climb up Cirith Ungol.
Yeah.
It's like trading one danger for another.
Yeah.
Out of the frying pan and into the spider's lair.
Cirith Ungol, the home of Shelob. It's a descent into primal fear, a test of physical and mental endurance, and it's here that Sam's courage really shines.
Yeah, he confronts Shelob to protect Frodo, armed with, his loyalty and a hobbit knife.
That's it.
You can't help but cheer for the underdog, even when he's facing impossible odds.
Sam's actions are like a testament to the power of love and devotion. He's like those unsung heroes, Their bravery often goes unnoticed, but their actions make all the difference.
It's a bittersweet victory, though, because Frodo ends up getting captured by orcs,
Yeah.
separated from Sam.
Yeah.
Feels like a crushing defeat, like all hope is lost.
That moment when Sam finds Frodo's empty cell, it's heartbreaking, but it's also a turning point for Sam.
Right.
He picks up the ring and vows to finish what they started. Like, he's finally stepping out of Frodo's shadow into his own destiny.
It's incredible, his determination.
Yeah.
But while Sam's facing his own challenges, the rest of the Fellowship, they're on these parallel journeys.
Right.
Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, they're pursuing the orcs who took Merry and Pippin.
Driven by loyalty.
A sense of duty. And their path leads them right into the conflict between Rohan and Saruman.
Oh yeah, the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
One of the most epic confrontations in the book, a true clash of good and evil. It's like a testament to Tolkien's ability to create those scenes, breathtaking scenes of terror and heroism.
You can almost hear the swords clashing, feel the ground shake, and amid all that chaos, there are these individual acts of courage that change the course of the battle.
Yeah, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli each play a crucial role, using their own unique skills to turn the tide. And let's not forget Eowyn, the shield maiden of Rohan, her defiance and her bravery in battle. I mean, she challenges those traditional roles and inspires us even to this day.
Oh, totally. Her confrontation with the Witch King, it's pure defiance against impossible odds, just a testament to the strength that can reside in the most unexpected places. But even with Rohan's victory at Helm's Deep, that shadow of Mordor, it's still looming large. The focus shifts to Gondor, the last line of defense against Sauron.
The siege of Minas Tirith is the climax of the story. A desperate struggle for survival where, the fate of Middle-earth hangs in the balance.
It's hard to imagine this siege on such an unimaginable scale.
Yeah, you have giant Oliphants, terrifying Nazgul, and hordes of orcs all descending upon the city.
It's overwhelming, but even in the chaos, we see these smaller stories of courage and resilience. Pippin, for example. He plays a big role in alerting Gandalf to Denethor's despair.
That's right. Despite his, initial naivete and that tendency for mischief, Pippin shows real growth throughout the story.
He does.
His quick thinking and loyalty end up being so valuable.
And then there's Merry, who joins the riders of Rohan, rides into battle against Mordor, proving that size really doesn't matter when it comes to courage. It's a reminder that even the smallest person can make a huge impact.
Absolutely. And while the arrival of Aragorn with the Army of the Dead helps turn the tide at Minas Tirith, the ultimate victory, it hinges on Frodo.
Right.
His mission to destroy the ring. Let's go back to Frodo and Sam. Their journey through Mordor is grueling, testing their friendship, their will to survive.
They're surrounded by this desolate landscape, just drained physically and emotionally, and the ring's influence is just crushing Frodo.
Yeah.
He's so close, yet the closer he gets, the harder it is to resist.
That's the tragedy of the ring. It preys on those desires, twisting them into something monstrous. But Sam never gives up on Frodo. He really embodies unwavering friendship, offering that support and encouragement when Frodo needs it most.
Their arrival at Mount Doom, it's like a culmination of all those trials, all those sacrifices.
Yeah.
It's the moment of truth, the chance to destroy the ring. But Frodo, he falters, can't bring himself to do it.
The power of the ring is just too much.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because you see how much the ring has taken from him. It almost feels like a defeat.
Right.
But then Gollum, he intervenes, right? Yeah. Seizes the ring and accidentally falls into the fire, destroying himself and the ring.
A bittersweet victory for sure. A testament to how complex fate is. The unpredictable nature of good and evil. The ring is gone. Sauron's power is broken, but at a great cost.
The destruction of the ring marks the end of an era, but the scars of war, those remain. Middle-earth will never be the same.
And that's where Tolkien leaves us, with this sense of triumph and loss.
Yeah.
A reminder that even in victory, there are sacrifices.
It makes you think about the choices we make, the burdens we carry,
Yeah.
the impact we have on the world around us.
The Lord of the Rings, it's more than just fantasy. It's a reflection of the human condition. The struggles we face, the choices we make when facing impossible odds.
That's a powerful thought to end on. We've journeyed through mountains, forests, and battlefields, but ultimately, it's the internal battles, those moments of choice, that stay with us. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Tolkien's world. We hope you've discovered something new, or maybe just a renewed appreciation for this timeless tale. And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to pick up the books again and start your own adventure through Middle-earth.